So if you think hallucination is a big problem, good news for you. We have a bunch of solutions right now. So typically, hallucination in generative AI was the biggest problem, especially in the B2B world where we were trying to implement AI technology in organization. A lot of times we would see hallucination and then the users will be discouraged to use this type of technology. So what is great, it's we have actually two options to really kind of like completely change the way we look at hallucination. The first one is EDFL. You can Google it. It's not a technology, it's a research paper explaining that with EDFL, you can actually highlight when you have a high probability of hallucination, because it's all about the data. So it's all about, to make it very simple, about compression and decompression. So what's happening, it's like, because it's so general, those generative AI and LLMs, it will take some data, compress it, and then decompress it when you need the answer. And when the compressing and the decompression file is too small, that's where you will see hallucination, because typically the LLM won't have enough information to come up with something that makes sense. So it will actually come up with, the highest probability based on the very limited information on this topic. So typically, if I'm asking when Cristiano Ronaldo has been born, obviously I will have a lot of information. So when I will compress and decompress, no problem, no hallucination. But when you go into business, maybe you won't have enough information. So when you will query and when you will ask a question, because of the lack of information, LLM will actually come up with the wrong information. So EDFL is just a great way to quantify when you might have hallucination and flag those situations. So great news, if you implement that into your workflows and inside your AI agents, you can really flag hallucination risk and make sure that the user is aware or completely block the output of the LLM. Now, the second point is really understanding what's going on around hallucination. You need to understand LLMs got trained not to give the right answer, but to give you the impression that this answer is the best. So actually, from a reinforcement learning point of view, we are using rewarding system. So meaning if the machine is coming up with an answer that looks great, that's where we will give the reward. We never gave reward to a model when the model was like, I don't know. So basically, we have created the hallucination because we wanted to create a machine that was able to come up with great responses, regardless if it was true or not. So by actually changing the training mechanism and changing the rewarding system, we can start training the LLMs based on the fact that the response is true or not. So we can imagine a reward system that will actually be negative when the answer is wrong and positive when it's right. That way we can completely change the architecture of LLMs and come up with an LLM that will be optimized to give you the true and an exact answer. So again, you can use EDFL, you can use a new training mechanism to actually train your LLM or your SLM based on the output, on the trueness of the output and not on the perceived perception of the output. And that's a great news because again, if you want to implement AI in your organization, you want to stop hallucination. And those two techniques can really stop hallucination for your organization.